Okay, so we've all gotten our sky paintings out and they're dry now from last week. So this week we're gonna go and add in our trees. And we're gonna use oil pastels to add in our trees. So we're gonna use a black oil pastel. And in order to do these trees, they're gonna be coming from each angle. We're gonna use thick and thin lines. And all different size, either fat or thin, and they're kind of going to be forming the shape of like a Y. So the way a tree works, right, the base is the thickest, and then the branches go from thick to thin. So the closer to the inside of the tree, they're thick, and the further out they get, the thinner they get. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use black oil pastel, and we're going to start by doing a line, and they're going to kind of go in, and then I'm going to branch off and do kind of like a Y. Okay, and I'm going to do off of that, I'm going to do another branch, like maybe going out here, and off of that maybe a branch going out here. And at first I'm just going to do all the same thickness. So it's just like a bunch of Ys coming off. Now the closer to the corner they're going to be, the thicker they're going to be. And this main branch is going to be thicker. So let's go and start making this thicker. I'm going to make this first branch really thick. So it's going to curve in, and see how it's really thick here and then it goes to thin? And then I'm going to color it in. Now, I don't press too hard with oil pastel, I just press kind of hard. If I press too hard, it's gonna break. And then I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of smooth it out. Okay, now that I've smoothed it, I'm gonna go, maybe we'll add a little branch to that, just a thin one. Then I'm gonna make this one kind of start thick and get thin. Right? I'm going to make this one start thick. So it's thick where it meets the base, like a triangle almost, and then it thins out. And this is going to be a little thicker where it meets the base. And this one's going to be same thing, thin on the outside, going to thick where it meets that base. So it's almost like making little skinny triangles. So I'm just thickening every spot where they meet another branch. It's going to get a little thicker. Okay, maybe I've got a few small, tiny, thin branches coming off. Okay. So I've done one. Now I'm going to go to this corner and do another one. So I start again with a thick one, thick in the corner, curving to thin. So it's like kind of a little wobbly shaped triangle. And do you see how that's not a perfectly straight line? That's okay, because trees are a little bumpy, aren't they? So I'm going to color it in, and I'm going to take my finger and just smooth that out. All right. Now, I can add my first Y. Remember, the first step is just to add in your Ys. We're not making it thick to begin with. The first thing we do is just put in those branches, however you want. And it's just the letter Y, right? Now, once I get it all in, I start making these little thicker right where they meet this main branch. So thin here, and it gets a little thicker, right? So I add a little more at the bottom. Thin here, so I don't add anything, but where it gets here, I make it a little thicker. So it's going from a thick line to a thin line. So thick near the base, thin as it goes out. Thick near this main trunk, thin where it goes out. And it's just like doing little skinny triangles. Thick here, thick here, thick here. So I'm just making it just twice as wide wherever it meets that branch. Okay, now I can go back and add some of my thin, tiny ones. Okay, so I've got 2 branches. Now I'm gonna do one coming from this side, going down. So where each corner is getting a branch going towards the center. So same thing, start off with my thick one. Maybe I'll do this one kind of curved. It's gonna curve up like that. And I'm gonna color in. And then I'm gonna take my finger and kind of smooth it out. So this one's kind of like a letter U or a J. And I'm adding my Y's. Then I'm going to go back and make them a little thicker at the bottom. Right where they meet that big piece, we make them thicker. So right where that Y meets in the middle, make it a little thicker. Okay, I've got one more corner to do. And this one might curve down. And it might be a little shorter. I'm going to do this one a little shorter. Now I color it in. And we can take our time with this. I'm going kind of fast to show you guys, but you don't have to go fast. You can take all class. Really make these nice. Take your time. Figure out where you want to put them. Okay? Because the point isn't to go fast. It's just to take your time and make it your own. So I'm making it thicker everywhere where it touches this big branch. And then I'm going to go back and add some tiny ones. So now I've got my branches. Now, if you have any extra time and you want to add anything else, you certainly could. You could add the silhouette of a bird, maybe, or I don't know, what else could you put in the, maybe a squirrel. That's only if you have time. So I might add a little owl right here. And he's going to have a circle head and then kind of like a U body. And he's going to have just a little beak. And we might not even know it's a bird. But if anyone asks, we know, right? Okay, so now you have your night sky with trees. If you finish early, we're gonna put this aside. Raise your hand so I can come around and spray it with some hairspray to really make sure that this oil pastel doesn't smear. Make sure that your name is on the back. You want a pencil and you want to put your first name, mine's Sarah, your last name, L-E-O-N-E-T-T-I. Don't put my name, put your name. Then below that, you put your grade. You guys are in second grade, or are you guys third grade? I think this is second, right? And then you're going to put what group you are. So if you're group 1, you put group 1. If you're group 2, you put group 2. And then once you've done that, you put your pencil away, put your oil pastel away. You can grab a sponge and wipe down your spot and wait patiently, and then raise your hand and I'll let you know if there's something else you can do.